Hello guys, I'm back and I just want to wind up something we've been talking about the last few days. We've been talking about the times in our lives where we maybe get a bit complacent, maybe we get a little bit comfortable and we sit where we are, we don't grow. We look back over the years and we think, well, the same challenges I'm facing today in my spiritual life are the same challenges I faced 5 years ago. And if we're honest, there's not a lot of ways of spiritual growth. But we've got to keep on moving. But it's this attractiveness to this complacent lifestyle that I just want to deal with one last time. We're talking about being comfortable. And the reason we want to be comfortable is because we're besotted with our own safety. Safety this and safety that, and we don't want to do anything unless we know it's going to be safe. We have safety officers who do their job, and I have nothing against that, but we have become besotted with safety. Now, I've heard some Christian cliches that I think are completely wrong. One of the cliches we hear is that the church is the safest place to be is in the center of the will of God. Yeah, right. I'm not so sure that's right. Ask Daniel, was he about to be thrown in the lion's den? Is that the safest place? Ask Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego when they're about to be put in the fire, and they were put in the fire. Is that the safest place? In the center of the will of God? The will of God could take you to some places that are going to be far from safe. But it's this desire for safety that really intrigues me today. You know, the Bible tells us, Jesus said this, that we will be the salt of the earth. And the salt was deemed to be a purifying agent. It goes on stuff that is unclean. And we're so besotted with our own cleanliness that we forget the purpose for which we have been created, that Jesus has set us apart for. He says we are the salt of the earth, and the salt, he says, is no good while it's still sitting in the cellar, because salt is not going to do anything. It's certainly not going to purify, it's certainly not going to cleanse, it's certainly not going to have any redeeming quality while it sits in the place of the salt cellar. But put salt out there, put salt on rotting meat, put salt on the places where there is impurity, put salt on. And the intriguing thing is that in the Old Testament we see that when something that was clean was put on something that was unclean, it was deemed to be unclean. Think of some of the old laws of the Old Testament, go and read them, and if you touched a leper, then you were deemed to be unclean and you had to go through purifying stuff. So when in the Old Testament, when the clean touched the clean became unclean. Jesus came and he changed all of that. Jesus came as the cleanest of the clean, and he touched the unclean and he turned everything clean. He was the one who reached out, as we said just now, spoke about the leper. He reached out, and when the cleanliness of Jesus touched the uncleanliness of the leper became clean. Now that's what salt should be. That's what we should be. When the cleanliness of our life touches the uncleanliness of the world around, the unclean world should become clean. We're so thinking all the time that there's too much of the world in the church. Well, there might be some truth to that as well, but there's not enough of the church in the world to make a difference. People with the church, don't be afraid to go for all the right reasons and the right motives and with the right energy to touch the unclean things around with an idea that when you go there, they become clean. Now you got to work that out in the context of your own life. Where you go, what do you do? Maybe you're part of a sports club, maybe you play rugby at the club, maybe you do other things. People, while you're sitting in your little holy huddle, no one's being saved, nobody's being redeemed, and the unclean is still unclean. But when you get out with the right reason and go out there and tell people about Jesus and share your life as a beautiful aroma of who God is, let that aroma follow you wherever you go and watch what happens around you. The salt that you are, the clean that you are, cleans the unclean, and the unclean becomes clean. I hope, I dearly hope that makes sense to you. Have a fantastic day, and we'll continue some more stuff tomorrow. Bye-bye.